Moscow to soak in the Bolsheviks' great experiment in public education. Sanger's thing was birth control, and she was seduced by the Leninist-Stalinist state's alleged advancements for women. She excitedly shared her findings in the June 1935 edition of her Birth Control Review. The attitude of Soviet Russia toward its women would delight the heart of the staunchest feminist, Sanger wrote, since equal rights are settled and accepted facts. Given this attitude, she said, the right of a woman to have birth control instruction is clear, and this right need not be bulwarked, as in our country, by health reasons, economic reasons, eugenic reasons, but is granted as a simple human right. The right to birth control extended to abortion, she added. Sanger urged America to take example from Russia, where there are no legal restrictions, no religious condemnation, and where birth control instruction is part of the regular welfare service of the government. But even the founder of Planned Parenthood, America's largest abortion provider, expressed concern about the tremendous number of abortions taking place in the Soviet Union. The total number is not known, she reported, but the number for Moscow alone is roughly estimated at 100,000 per year. Nonetheless, she was assuaged by the promises and vision of the communists. She confidently told her readers, all the officials with whom I discussed the matter stated that as soon as the economic and social plans of Soviet Russia are realized, neither abortions nor contraception will be necessary or desired. A functioning communistic society will assure the happiness of every child and will assume the full responsibility for its welfare and education. All would be well if the central planners could simply do more central planning. Sanger's faith in the communists, like that of so many other dupes, was misplaced. By the 1970s, Soviet officials reported an astonishing 7 to 8 million abortions per year, a rate unmatched in human history. The Naivete of Jimmy Carter and Franklin Roosevelt. Two of the biggest dupes featured in this book were presidents, Franklin Roosevelt and Jimmy Carter. In recent years, I have discovered still more evidence of their staggering naivete about the communists, naivete bordering on self-delusion. It seems that President Carter, whose kiss of Soviet leader Leonid Brezhnev perfectly symbolized his approach to the communists, could never pass up a chance to appease and flatter communist dictators. I documented further instances of President Carter's troubling behavior in my 2017 book on Pope John Paul II and Ronald Reagan, A Pope and a President. For example, the Carter administration handed over to Hungary's communist regime the ancient crown of Saint Stephen, which was such a sacred symbol that freedom fighters had rescued it from Hungary during World War II to keep it out of the hands of totalitarians. The crown had been protected in the United States since the 1940s, but Carter and his Secretary of State, Cyrus Vance, were happy to give it back, despite bipartisan opposition to the return. The Carter administration even rejected requests to seek conditions in exchange for the return of the crown. Carter and Vance revealed themselves to be classic dupes. Vance held the progressive nature of the Hungarian totalitarian regime and the substantial progress it was making. President Carter deemed the return of the crown a good step forward to convince the Soviet bloc nations that we are trying to get them to look to us as friends who want peace, who recognize the horrible suffering that they've experienced, and who are building a basis for friendship and trade and mutual exchange. Carter was similarly accommodating when he visited Poland at the end of 1977. Speaking from the airport tarmac in Warsaw, the president told the communist leadership that